Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom. And welcome to another exciting episode of the Just Seen podcast. Today, I want to talk about, I ain't gonna say it's such a touchy subject, but it's a subject that I get flack on because I don't agree with. But at the same time, I feel like people just don't understand it right. And they blur lines between things and they make one thing something else. And you know what I mean? And it gets like totally fucked up. And that is the ideology of submissive women. If you know me, I do not like submissive women. I don't. I just don't. You feel me? I don't like submissive women. You know, some say it's because you're an alpha male. Some say it's because it's the Aries in me. Some say whatever the case may be. You know, they're like, I don't. You know, it's well. And then they say shit like, well, you're gonna be single then because the right woman, she's gonna be willing to submit to you, and I'm not gonna let her. I don't like submissive women. I hate the shit. You feel me? I hate the conceptualization of submission because th- when it comes to words, when it comes to using certain things, a lot of like you can make something as synonymous to another thing as you want it to be. The programming and how your unconscious mind and subconscious mind works is that it applies the definition. To submit to something means to give up. Okay. And I get it. You guys can use so many different things and so many different ideations of, well, no, if she's submitting, then, that means she's acting in her divine feminine or that she's doing this. And that is not submission. That is harmony. Okay. So I'm going to have this conversation regarding that today because I'm tired of arguing with people about why I don't fuck with submission, and then they're trying to convince me to deal with submission, and then they say a submissive woman, and then they do all of the things of what a harmonizing woman is supposed to do, and then they say that's submission. And I'm like, see, y'all so tapped into some shit you're not supposed to be tapped into that you're describing what you really want, but you don't want the reality and don't know it. That's why, like, they'll say, I'm willing to submit to a man who can do X, Y, and Z, things that you harmonize with, things that will bring harmony to your space. That's not submission. Submission means to give up. If we in a motherfucking wrestling match and I put your ass in a cripple cross face and you submit, you just gave the fuck up. That don't mean you let me keep you in a cripple cross face. No, the fuck, you gave up. So I didn't have to keep your ass in the cripple cross face. You feel me? My bad. Look, it's Mercury retrograde. So any outlandish shit that I say is solely tied to that. Nah, I can't even fake that. I say outlandish shit on a regular basis. It's just saying profanity. But anyway, we're going to dive deep into that because I feel personally that this needs to be understood and understood thoroughly because we're trying to look for submission. And then now the battle comes in because off of men's side, we be like, yo, I want a submissive woman. And then you get a docile creature. You feel me? And by creature, I don't mean in the terms of animal. I mean creature as a form of creation. Creature is a thing of creation. I don't want you to feel, he calling women creatures. Yeah, we're all creatures by virtue of being from creation. But I don't see this retrograde shit. I already got to break down stuff because I already know how y'all gonna trip. But on our side as men, we were like, I want a submissive woman until we get a submissive woman and she ain't doing shit. Then it's like, the fuck do you do? I just wait on you hand and foot. You submit, and then we talk about the Proverbs 31 woman and all of the shit. Basically, if you really truly read the shit and not try to mystify it and think that it has to be all good, you will see that she's just a simple slave that doesn't get beat. But anyway, we're going to take a quick break. So before we do that, be sure to follow me on Instagram at _just_seen_. Be sure to check out my website at iamjustseen.com to get all things that are just seen. If you're catching this episode right now on the first release, chances are you're still within the time window, so you can sign up to the Master in the Market course if you're looking to get into it for 222 in ode to the first week of Black History Month. So if you're listening to this and it's after February 8th, It's done. It's done. There's no more. There's no false advertising. It's done. I'm telling you, it's only the first week of February. Yeah, so you can visit iamjustseeing.com to check that out. To all who tip, sponsor, and donate, you are greatly appreciated, loved, and respected. You're helping keep this thing going. To all those who would like to tip, donate, and sponsor, you can do so by clicking the description of your podcast, not the episode itself, but the podcast fully. That's that with this, and that's this with that. So when we come back, we're gonna dive into. I don't have a title for this yet, but it will be a title by the time I type it out. But it's gonna be something along of harmony and submission, but it ain't gonna be that long. It's gonna be, oh, I got it. When we come back, we're gonna dive in to submission. No, that shit don't work. Fuck it, this is what it's gonna be for now. When we come back, we're gonna dive into submission, the illusion of harmony. Now, I don't like that shit either, bro. The fuck. All right, fuck it. All right, we're gonna stick with that. When we come back, we're gonna dive into submission, the illusion of harmony. Oh yeah, and don't forget to visit iamjustseeing.com. There, you can get all things Just Seen. You want to add the So Frail series to your library? Visit iamjustseeing.com. You want to learn how to master the market for serious trading and investing? Visit iamjustseeing.com. You want to get your hands on some exclusive merch like tees, hoodies, coffee mugs, hats, bags? Visit iamjustseeing.com. Are you thinking about transitioning into the plant-based lifestyle? Visit iamjustseeing.com. You ever want to just chat with Scene about anything from simple advice to mentorship? Visit iamjustseeing.com. Anything and everything that is me, you can find at iamjustseeing.com. So just take a quick peek into my world and see why being just seen is nothing less but always more. Because you never really know what you need until you see it. You will never see it unless you visit iamjustseeing.com. All right. Welcome back. And we're going to dive straight into this motherfucker, right? Because, again, like I said, this is something that frustrates me because submissive women are women who are supposed to be controlled. And I don't really understand, like, this has been one of my biggest gripes with why women are heavily religious. These shits don't fuck with y'all. Y'all are supposed to be submissive, right? So I ask a woman what a submissive woman is and shit. And I'm like, they're like, well, I gotta be submissive under according to these things or whatever the case may be. And I'm like, you do know that shit that you fuck with didn't like y'all though, right? So what is this submission that you're talking about? You feel me? Because a lot of times, a lot of things that we don't really understand as a people, I'm not just speaking solely for women at this point because I can't speak for women because I'm not a woman. But as a people, when we have heard something enough or use a certain word enough, we assume that we know what it means, or we assume that we have it in our lexicon accordingly to what it really means, and we use that. You feel me? For example, the word humble. The word humble, people think is a good thing. It means that, to be humble means to be insignificant, right? To be insignificant. And the cognitive dissonance is so real that if you explain that to somebody, they say, no, that's not what humble means. And it's literally written right there in the dictionary across the board. Webster, Merriam, all of these motherfuckers, they tell you this is what humble means. And people will hear that definition, hear you read it straight out and say, no, that's not what humble means. Humble means that that's modesty. That's not humble. Humble means to make insignificant, make less than. You see what I'm saying? But we hear, oh, he's such a humble person. I'm not less than shit. That's why I always correct people. They be like, yo, you so humble. No, I'm not. By default, they assume that I'm saying arrogant because, again, now we're talking in the words with synonyms and shit. They're like, and antonyms. They think by default, if you're not humble, you're arrogant. No, I'm not humble. I'm modest. Like, I don't think too much of myself, but I'd be damned if I feel that I'm insignificant or if I will be insignificant to anything. Give a fuck. But anyway, I'm using that example to connect with submission because when I tell women, I'll be like, submission means to give up, to quit, to concede. They say, no, it don't. Or they'll use it a different way. They say, no, that's not what it means in this context. I'm like, okay, so tell me what it means. Well, when a woman submits to a man, it's she is operating in her divine feminine and allowing it. Oh, so she's harmonizing with his masculine energy. You see what I'm saying? And this is one of the hardest difficult, well, not the hardest difficulties. That's like extra hard, but this is one of the issues with when people are trying to understand a different level of some basic shit or trying to make some basic shit so complex to deviate from what it really is, you know. So when they say, a woman like this, they'll say, when a woman submits to a man, she becomes more nurturing, more caring, more sustaining, and she's soft. She's allowed to be soft. Why is she allowed to be soft? Because he's hard. You feel what I'm saying? Why does she nurture and sustain? Because he protects and provides. You feel what I'm saying? It's harmony. It's harmony. Submission derives from a function of equality. I'm going to say that one more time. Submission derives from the function of equality. My sisters, again, this is Mercury retrograde. So really hear everything that I'm saying. My brothers too. Hear everything that I'm saying. You feel me? Y'all are not equal to us. And we are not equal to y'all. To fight for equality is stupid. It's real stupid. Unless you're fighting for a position to assert a certain level of dominance over somebody. You feel what I'm saying? So here's what I mean by that. When we decide that we want equality, when women want equal, like this is what we get in today's society, a whole fucked up mind fuck, because our women should never have to fight. They should never been able to fight for equality. But what happens is when you do fight for equality, the first step of that is, okay, women say we want to be equal with the men. Okay, we're going to allow you guys to be equal. You feel me? But to be equal, you have to be able to fill the same qualifications as, what you're competing against. And I get it. It's like you shouldn't have to compete. You're right. You shouldn't. But that's what equality is about. When it's a game to be played, you have to compete and you want to be seen as equals because there's the competition. You feel me? We want equal pay in the workforce. Okay, cool. You have to be an equal competitor. We want these certain things. Yes, that's what you're fighting for, equality. Keep fighting for it. I'm not saying don't, because this is what you guys believe is the way. You feel me? Who am I to judge? Who am I to say what it is? But I can say from my own understanding that fighting for equality is not going to do anything but make you the same as the man. And now it flips, because now we have the men. Now you want it to be equal with the men so much. And then the men, let me show you the biggest fuck up. I'm going to get back on track, but I'm going to show you the funniest shit ever. Men, the forces that be that are involved in this equality shit, they pretty much said, okay, y'all want to be equal to us? Now we're going to go back and be equal to you and better. Let me show you what I'm talking about. When Bruce Jenner became Woman of the Year, he was only woman for 6 months. You didn't even put the whole year in, dog, and you won. You were Woman of the Year, and you didn't even put a whole year in. You feel me? That was reverberations and sending shit through the eons and the ethos and the ethers and shit. Because what happens is when this maneuvers and goes straight forward, it's still going to show you y'all are not our equals. And now we're going to be better women than you. You feel what I'm saying? This is why I'm like, they're showing you that equality is what you're fighting for. So now you have to deal with it. So now they're doing shit where you can, now trans boys or the trans girls, you feel me? They're now able to play girl sports as girls. This is what equality is. Okay, we're going to make it equal. Technically, on paper, we're all girls. You feel me? Like, this shit is happening. This is what was fought for. But anyway, this is what I'm saying. When it comes to equality, equality is about being the same as. My sisters, I need y'all to hear me well. You will never be the same as a man, just as a man will never be the same as you. So here's where the mind fuck is now starting to come in, because you fought for understanding and trying to be the same for so long and equal, that now you're seeing, you've been seeing it, but you always wanted to be equal with us, but you never wanted us to be equal back. I'm comfortable with not being equal with a woman. I know I can't be the same as a woman. I'm very well aware of that shit. You feel me? And I'm comfortable with that shit. You feel me? And because of that, I don't need a woman to submit to me. Yeah, I know it's like, how did you tie this back to submission? How does this relate to submission? I'm about to show you, because submission is a conceptualization created by the religious men who could not stand firm over their women. You know, they didn't want women to stand. Like, submission was started, I feel personally, religion was started by beta males. Not even betas, but epsilons. If you read So Frail, you know what an epsilon is. But weak beta males, I feel, made religions. I don't give a fuck. I don't care what nobody say. Like, when I read some of the stories of the relationships and shit, it's like, yo, you was a whole bitch, bruh. Like, you was a whole bitch. Like, from beginning to end, all of the main stories in which there was a man and a woman involved, you feel what I'm saying? The man was on some soft shit. He was a cornball. If we really want to keep it 100, I know y'all probably don't use cornballs no more, but hey, fuck it. This is my shit. You feel me? My bad. It's Mercury retrograde. It's Mercury retrograde. But it's from Adam, right? Adam's story, right? If we really break down the story of Adam, because prior to Adam being married to Eve, he had Lilith. You feel me? I'm not going to go into heavy details because everybody has their own perspectives of Lilith. Well, Lilith was really the serpent. Or no, that's not what it was. Lilith was Adam's first wife. But do you know why she is no longer Adam's wife? Or she was banished and considered the queen of the demons or some shit like that, the mother of all evil or something. That's what they called her. Because when there was the simple story, when it was time for them to have sex, Adam said, I want to be on top. She said, fuck no. And then Adam went to God and complained about her. And then they cut this part out of the text and shit. But that's when God put Adam to sleep. And then he made Eve from the rib. And what was Eve? A docile motherfucking being. You feel me? Eve just took the shit. You feel me? And she just carried the labor of being the burden, well, the baby maker in a sense. You feel me? You're going to have babies and it's going to be painful and you're going to shut the fuck up. I know the word probably doesn't say it exactly like that, but you know, that's the first instance. And what happens in this situation? Everybody shifts the focus off Adam being a bitch and how Eve was just, oh my gosh, she doomed us all. You see how the attention, like when submission is involved, these submissive women, they take the brunt of everything. They don't even know that shit. And it started with these motherfuckers. Because now let's put it into perspective, right? Adam, where the fuck was you at for your girl to even be seduced by a snake anyway? How the fuck if you supposed to be the man, you tasked with provision, how the fuck was she left unprotected and unprovided or to be talked to by a fucking snake? Instance number one. Okay. We're gonna look at another instance, right? Isaac. No, not Isaac. Is it Isaac? Or is it Israel? Whoever was responsible for Leah and Rachel, I know his name starts with an I, but whoever's responsible for marrying Leah and Rachel, you feel me? Again, another instance of beta males or weak betas or some shit like that. We love to hear the story of how, you feel me, when he saw Rachel, he knew that she was the most beautiful girl of all time of his life, and he knew he was going to marry her, right? Rachel was 12 years old and this nigga was 40. Rachel was 12. This nigga was 40. You feel what I'm saying? And he knew she was 12. How you know that he knew he was 12? Because he says, I'm going to wait by the well. And the first woman that comes to, that first girl or first woman that comes to here to take some water from the well, I'm going to marry her. You dig what I'm saying? In that time, see, this is why you just can't study this book. You got to study the cultures too. So in that time, the people that were, the girls that were working the fields and fetching water, they were adolescents. They were preteens and teenagers. They were between 11 and 12 years old. Well, 11 and 13. I'm giving her 12 because it sits in the middle. You feel what I'm saying? So he purposely sat there at the motherfucking well waiting for a 12-year-old. In today's society, that's some creepy shit. Is it not? But it's biblical. You know, it's different. But again, another instance, what I'm showing, a bunch of beta motherfuckers is running the game. You feel me? They can't get women they age. They can't get women to keep up with the capacity of the women that they need to be harmonizing with. So they got to get women that'll submit to them, to concede, to give up, to relinquish their power, to be beneath them. Oh, I ain't done yet though. But that's the story of I want to say it's Isaac, but then again, I feel like it's Israel. It's Jacob. Yeah, Jacob, because his name changed to Israel and it's Leah and Rachel. Yeah. You feel me? That's two beta males right there in your motherfucking face. So when I say this shit is written by I can't fuck with no shit like this. This bitch shit's written by cowards who can't even be real men. You feel what I'm saying? Look at King David. You feel me? King David. He was the greatest king to ever rule. We love hearing the story about David and Goliath with the sling. Yeah, I could tackle any of my challenges and I can come out on top and everything like that. But let's look at David as a fucking man. David had his best friend Uriah the Hittite killed just so he can have his wife. He told his right-hand man, Jonathan, hey, yo, put Uriah on the front line so he could die so I could take Bathsheba. That's weak beta male shit, but he's the greatest king. You feel me? King Solomon was the wisest. I know what you're thinking. I thought it was no, Solomon was the wisest. David was supposed to be the greatest king. Again, weak beta males. You dig what I'm saying? Weak beta males. King Solomon shit. And then with him being the so-called wisest motherfucker, like two women coming to the shit asking, you know, this is my baby. No, this is my baby. This nigga say, cut the baby in half. Right? Cut the baby in half. This is where a different level of misogyny comes in. You cannot have a compassion for a woman if you know that this is going to rip her soul apart if you cut her baby in half. But again, it's a barbaric culture. Whatever. You feel me? That's what these niggas can do. You feel me? So you had one woman on the side of, now this was, in my opinion, this was probably one of the first instances in which you had a pick me versus a woman who's not a pick me. And this is why I say this shit. This is going to get a little metaphorical. It's going to get a little deep. But Shorty said, cut the baby in half and give both of them. Like, yep, cut the baby in half. That's some pick me shit. Damn, you don't even have compassion for the child. Your disdain is solely for the woman and solely for to make this to be in the presence of King Solomon. That you can't even see anything else outside of reality. Another lady was like, yo, fuck that. Just give her the whole baby. Don't cut my shit in half, yo. Fuck that. Fuck that. And I know the story is like, oh, it was based off the fact that the woman loved the baby more. No, miss me with that bullshit. If he was the wisest king of all time, his wisdom would extend it to, let's go check the midwife records. The fuck? They were documenting births. They were documenting this shit. They had the records. They knew who was delivering babies. Why the fuck you gotta cut the motherfucker in half? There's a witness to say this baby belongs to this person. But again, like I said, this shit is littered with the most prominent motherfuckers being beta males, weak ass betas, or even epsilons. You know, I'm gonna keep it going. I think I got a couple more in the cut. This one's gonna be the heavy shit. Because Jesus was kind of like that. You know, to an extent, I ain't even gonna hold you to an extent, because when he flipped the tables over in the motherfucking temple there, he got with the shits. But other than that, it was on some, you know, let them do the shit and not really have too much action. You feel me? But he was the first symbol to state, you know what I'm saying? Like, embrace women different. You dig what I'm saying? Embrace women different. Like, that's why he didn't see, like, he was like, yo, let he without sin cast the first stone, as opposed to just telling dude, yo, don't call her no hoe, bro. He's like, yo, Jesus, you walking with a hoe. Like, this is what the conversation was. Yo, you walking with a hoe. And he was like, all right, let he who is out sin cast the first stone. You feel me? He was like one of the first points to make that transition and say, okay, look, women is cool. You feel what I'm saying? But these are the but he never asserted his self. It was the passive aggressive side. You feel what I'm saying? Like I said, when they were trying to get that girl, he drew the line and said, let he who is without sin cast the first stone. All right. Then they just walked away from it. If he wouldn't have said that, they would have kept tormenting her, right? However, when he went to the temple, he just took the whip out and started beating motherfuckers for gambling. So it wasn't a matter of like his protection was different towards a man versus it was towards a woman. You feel me? Because, he was doing that in light of his father, as opposed to the woman is, it's different. But that's what it's levels to the shit. You feel me? But again, it's beta energy. It's beta energy. Like there's no way around that shit. Even when you look at I was talking about the Proverbs 31 woman, right? The Proverbs 31 woman is submissive. She's a slave. Like, read the shit. And then the shit starts off. People don't even pay attention to this shit. The shit starts off with a woman, which is the guy's mother. I forgot who the person is, who's the story is directed to. It's his mother basically telling him, bitches ain't shit. They will destroy your motherfucking king. They will destroy this. So what you need to do is get you a woman who takes care of home, who does, and that shit sounds so good. That shit sounds so good. But you don't get a woman who can bring down, like, this is what pissed me off in this, because it's like a woman who can bring down a king can also create one. You feel me? But when it comes to actual harmony with the woman, this is why you have to submit, because the power is dependent upon a man to invoke. You feel me? The power is dependent upon the man to invoke. If I want to become a king, if a woman has the power to create or destroy it, if she has the power to destroy a king, this is very, very powerful, because it goes into what femininity really is, the feminine essence, and why harmonizing with it is important. But harmony is dependent upon your personal perspective to resonate. So if a queen, if she says a woman has the power to destroy a king, she equally has the power to build him. But it's in what he can catalyze to come out. You dig what I'm saying? But what they teach you is, no, we're going to say the part about destroy the king, and then now don't be that type of woman. Don't be a woman with the power of creation. People think creation is just building shit up. No, creation is the ability to create and destroy. Creation and destruction are the same shit, just opposite sides of the same coin. That's why it's important to understand singularities and dualities. You have to build and you have to destroy. So if a woman can destroy a king, she can also build them and create them. Trust me, I'm living proof of this shit. I'm living proof of this shit. I am the reflection of the women that I pour into. That's my secret to this shit. You feel me? And I get better by sharpening myself with the brothers that I associate with. You feel what I'm saying? But anyway, I digress. So the start of this Proverbs 31 is talking about how, you submit to the man. You give up. You just come home, cook, clean, and keep the house in order and shit. But here's where the problem with that happens is, excuse me, when you are in such a space where you have no control, you have to assert control. So when they create this hierarchical system of, you have the deity, then you have, Jesus, or there is no Jesus in that bracket, depending on, I'm going to go into the next religious side of that shit too. Because I know people are like, why are you just talking about the Bible? I'll get on Quran too and why. You feel me? But you have, God is the head, then the man, then the woman, then the children. You dig what I'm saying? It's a ripple effect. If I don't feel like I have control in my life, I have to assert control over something that is below me. If I don't have anything below me, I'm going to put something below me. And what's below me, because I control it, it's going to control what's below it. You feel me? So this reverberates down to the children and shit. This is why, women assert, I don't really think they know, because it's become cultural. You assert a level of control over your kids, oldest down to and then the siblings do it, and it comes down all the way to the youngest child. You dig what I'm saying? And everybody doesn't see that full reality, but it comes from the man and all this. And it's because of submission, because the next step within submission is control. You submit to me, I control you. You feel me? You got to tell me when you going, how you doing this, how, like, this is why it's like, it blows my mind, because like, for example, we'll harmonize with a woman from the jump, but then we seek submission because we'll meet her in the club, half naked, almost grinding on it. We want that. We harmonize with that in the moment. Then we'll get with her and say, you can't do that shit anymore, nigga. That's how she was when you met her. I mean, Naga, brother, king, God, whatever the fuck y'all want to call each other these days. You feel what I'm saying? You want to now make her submit to you. You dig what I'm saying? But this comes from our conceptualization of a deity. We were taught to submit to our deity. You feel me? And if we don't submit to our deity will humble us. You feel what I'm saying? Our deity will humble us, which is very, very, kind of detrimental, because when you actually consider the deity, if you don't, it will still fuck with you. Even if you do fuck with it, it'll fuck with you heavy too. Y'all got to read the story of Job for real, for real. Like, Job did nothing wrong and God fucked with him. Yeah, he fucked with him. He punished him for nothing. Like, Job ain't do shit. And he was like, yo, I bet you can't make him curse me. It's like, yo, basically, I control this motherfucker. That's some pimp shit. That's some real pimp shit. I turned this trick out already. Now, I know it sounds like you can't say I can. This is a metaphor, and this is how it seems different now. It's like, yo, I bet you this bitch won't leave me. I bet you this bitch won't leave me. I do whatever I want to, and she's still going to iceberg slim shit. You feel me? But I digress. You feel me? Because the point that I was making is how a lot of the masculine, a lot of the male figures in the religious text are beta males, are weak betas. Hell, even, I know this is going to sound real, if your ears are sensitive, even the actual creator that is said to be the creator of these books, creator in these books, is real beta-ish. Because imagine this, to come together with I'm going to say the Ogdad, because, I understand something different. You feel me? But to say, let us create man in our image and our likeness, you feel me, means that there's multiple motherfuckers he's talking to at this particular point. But then to all, like, so these are his peers. You feel me? These are peers. If I'm in a position where I'm in agreement with you to create something with you, you are my peer. You are my equal. Because we are going to create man in our image and our likeness. I know everybody says, I created in the image of God. Which one? I always ask them, which one? It's only one. Are you sure? Because he was in agreement and concert with multiple when he made man. But, there's levels to the shit. So it goes from him saying to his peers, let us create man in our image and our likeness. Then man is created, only for him to find man and say, there is no other God before me. Fuck the us that I just created, like, in image and likeness. You feel me? With y'all. I mean, for y'all. Like, I created y'all within the image and likeness of, it's only one of me. And you don't fuck with anybody else. Don't fuck with anybody else. And we believe, wow. And it's like, when I say it's right there, I'm not adding, I can't add anything to this book. It's already published. It's right there. It's our image, our likeness. Why was it plural? Then what kind of mentality does this being have to where I want to control everything within this, despite the fact that I didn't create it by myself? You feel me? I know that's a touchy one, but it ties back into submission, because what happens is now it's like he separates his creation from everybody else to help create it, right? And it's like, you're only mine. These other ones are evil. Don't fuck with them. They this, they that, they third. And if you do fuck with them, if you do fuck with whoever else I was in concert with to create you, I'm going to punish you. I'm going to punish you. I'm going to send you off into slavery. I'm going to do all of these other things, and I'm going to make sure that you will bow to me. That's some real epsilon beta shit. You feel me? But you got to really read it and really understand it, right? And now, like I said, how do I tie this into other things? Like, okay, well, I say the Quran, I don't really have to quote that part because the Quran is the cousin to the Bible. They both are Abrahamic religions. You feel me? Abraham created his two sons were Isaac and Ishmael. Isaac is responsible for the Bible, Christianity, Judaism, and shit. Ishmael is responsible for fucking Islam and the Quran, right? Their only separation is at the level of the only separation, the difference between the Bible and the Quran. It doesn't deviate until Ishmael and Isaac are born. You feel me? Once they're born, that's when you get the offshoots. But up until that point, from Abraham and the sit beyond, it's all the same. It's all the same. But again, like I said, it's all created within the same reality and the same mentality of a creation from, as I'm saying, epsilon beta males, weak beta males at that. So I'm saying that to say this. I said that to give the backstory of how submission is the reality. So when we look at these two heavy religions, it's like, the women can't speak in the presence of men. The women can't do X, Y, and Z, because it goes back into everybody viewing the negative side. I would want a woman to submit to me if I can only see that her power can bring destruction out of me. But I don't want to understand and don't want to accept the fact that the opposite side of destruction is creation. So I'm only going to use her for her creation piece, which is to have babies. But I'm not going to use her for anything else. I'm not going to bring anything else out of her. So I need her to submit. I need her to stay docile. Two ways that I'm going to make her to stay docile. If she's my age, I'm going to break her down mentally. I'm going to beat her. If she's younger than me, she's younger than me. It's not much I have to do. Read any of these texts. How many of these motherfuckers had women that were older than them? Never. I know it doesn't make sense. Well, that's because the women that were older couldn't have babies, couldn't do this, couldn't do that. They were too off, and the time was off. But then it's like, but then they want to give you the story of Sarah, who had her first baby when she was 90. So it's pick and choose. You feel what I'm saying? Because at the same time, why are we not pairing? If we understand this, let's say the childbearing age later and shit and all of that shit. Let's use that, and then let's say, why don't we pair those who are advanced with the women who are ready for that time frame right there? You feel me? Why is there never an older woman being able to be and conceive with the younger? You see what I'm saying? Because I can't make an older woman submit to me. The fuck kind of shit is that? It don't even sound right on paper. You feel what I'm saying? I can only make a woman that's my age, my peer group, submit to me, or a woman who's younger than me. That's where submission comes in. This is why a lot of older women in today's time, start to feel like they damaged goods. Oh, I'm getting old. I'm this, that, and the third. And then it's like, yo, you stop keeping yourself up, because we as men we no longer revere the value of an older woman. Because older women can't submit to us. Older women won't submit to us. They don't. You feel what I'm saying? They don't. And off my side, I'm like, yo, and that's the reason why I don't like older women. I mean, I don't like submissive women. I hate that shit with a passion, because I started to understand what submission is. Because all of the women that I've been with is like, oh, I'm submit. They don't do shit with life. They don't do shit with life. It sounds good when you come from dealing with a man who just didn't do shit with life, and you vindicated yourself by being able to submit and serve him, and what you can do for him, and all the shit that you can give him, and all the shit you can pour into him. And you can't do that shit with me. I need you to pour into your motherfucking self. I don't need you to, and I always say this and I always catch flat, but I'm not going to stop saying this. I don't need a woman, but I need a woman in my life. You feel me? That in my life part is very, very important to changing the whole scope of that. I don't need a woman as in the point of I'm unable to function in life. I'm being able to function without, I have to be codependent on her. I don't need a woman in that regard. I need a woman in my life to harmonize with. I'm telling you, I keep women in my circle for this very reason. It fucks me up because when you're in a certain society where they think, oh, he has a plethora of female friends, he's fucking them. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. My closest homegirls, I have never tried to make a pass on, but they have made me sharper and made me better. Why? Because I'm harmonizing with them. And I'm able to harmonize with the aspect within myself, and I can make the music that I need to make and help them make the music they need to make so we can both grow and elevate. I love that shit. You feel me? You feel what I'm saying? Now, when I get one that's just, yo, you, me, and girl, I'm telling you, we're going to make magic. You feel me? We're going to make magic. But this is why I can't do the submissive shit, because the moment a woman finds herself in that position where she's now having to submit to a man, I love the power of a woman. This is why I hate submission. I love the power of a woman, so I don't want her to relinquish that shit. I don't want her to give it up to me. And I get a lot, oh, you don't get it because you're not a woman. Women don't give up their power when they submit. All right, you show me a submissive woman. You show me a submissive woman right now. Show me one. Don't show me one who's willing to be submissive, but she's still single. Show me a woman who's actively in a successful relationship, a successful marriage, who's actively submitting to her man. You can't. You're going to show me. And when you show me the one who's submitting, you're going to show me that she's harmonizing with that man. Everything you show me is what you're going to call submission, but she's actually in direct harmony with that man. She ain't giving up shit. Her voice isn't gone. She could say what she want to say. She could move how she wants to move, and she's free. You feel me? I always tell my homies, because I had this conversation with one of my employees when I was account manager in Philly. He said, yo, man, Shorty's so bad, man, but I don't think I can control her. I don't think I can tame her. I said, look, bro, the goal, I'm going to tell you this plot twist and the secret to having successful relationships with women. The goal isn't to control them, it's to unleash them. He was like, what? I know, bro, it's different. It's different. The moment you unleash that woman, that's it. Because you're not like something that I've learned. I think it was an Aristotle or Socrates quote or some shit. He said, only two things love solitude. He said, things that love solitude are either a wild beast or a god, right? A god and a wild beast are pretty much opposite sides of the same coin. You feel me? 6 and 9. 6 is the mark of the beast. That's why 9 is the mark of the divine. Drake said it in a song. You turn the 6 upside down. It's a 9 now. Turn the beast to a god. It's real simple. It's not as demonic as people want to make it seem. But anywho, when you are able to allow a woman to unleash herself and in your harmony with her, shift the beast mode to the divine, because she's going to do the same thing to you. Shift your beast mode to the divine. You're free. You're freer. You feel me? The issue is with equality, with, submission, a woman gets captivated and she can't become her full self. She gets comfortable and complacent and happy because I just got kids. She don't tap into shit. This is why they're telling a lot of women, get all of your stuff done first before you get married. Because submission means to give up. Well, I put all of my dreams on hold for this man. I put all of this, that, and the third for this man and shit like that. Like, no, I keep it a buck with you. The women, and this is one of the reasons why when it comes to the relationships with me, a lot of that pre-programming shit is still there. Women, oh my gosh, a woman will submit to you and I ain't gonna let her. And that's where the problem comes in. I know so many women who are like the past relationships, those women were willing to submit to me and I wouldn't let them. Ain't that a plot twist for your ass? So when people ask me like, why don't the relationship? Because I won't let them submit. They want to just be in a space where it's like, I don't have to do anything because you're going to take care of everything. And no, you're not submitting to me. You're not going to bend to my beck and call. You're not going to do that. You're going to harmonize with me. I know that as masculine energy, women, I want the divine masculine, but you don't want to harmonize with it. You want to submit to the divine masculine. Because the divine masculine is going to bring the divine feminine out of you. Can't submit to it. I don't care. Like, I don't care what people try to say. What you can submit to, however, is femininity. This is why I wrote So Frail too, which is toxic femininity. Because what women have, this is why, and it ties back to religion. If you read the book, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This is what women have to understand. You're not submitting to masculine energy of a man. You're submitting to his femininity. Femininity and femininity can't reign together. You feel me? This is why a lot of the destruction is so heavy off of the male side. Just look at the Old Testament of the Bible. Why was there so much war? Why was there so much calamity? Why was there so much destruction? Because it was toxic feminine. Masculinity doesn't do war. I know it seems crazy. It's like, what? How does masculinity do that? Because toxic femininity does war. Masculinity is solely about analysis and deconstruction. Femininity is about creation and synthesis. So when creation and synthesis becomes destruction, that's when it becomes toxic. So when we look at all of this war shit and women, we want to be equal. You want to be equal with toxic feminine man, the toxic feminine man, not the masculine man, not the divine. I've been telling people for a long time the divine masculine isn't here. Well, it's on the low. Let me say that. Shh, it's on the low. It's coming though. You feel me? But the divine masculine is not what's running the world. It's the toxic feminine. This is why you elect presidents and shit that throw fits. This is why you elect the presidents who have empty promises. You elect the presidents that know how to pander to certain shit because they know how to tap into the feminine side. They don't know how to use masculinity for analysis and deconstruction. They don't break that shit down from that level. We think masculinity is manliness, but manliness is just a form of toxic femininity. Manliness is the form of toxic femininity, and that's what women have to submit to. All right. Look. The markets are not a difficult place to understand. All right. You just have to know what you're looking at. And there's 5 things that you need to see before you can make any market entry. First, you need a pocket so you can know which direction the market is going in. Second, you need a pullback so you can get the better price. Third, you need a battlefield so you can see when that market movement is slowing down. Fourth, you need the upper hand so you can see when the market reactivates. And last, you need a final push so you can see the exact moment when it's time to go with the direction you are already moving in. Okay? Of course, there's so much more that has to go into that, and it's not as cut and dry as that. But those are things that I teach in my Mastering the Market course. So if you would like to learn more, please visit IamJustSing.com and check out the Mastering the Market course today. Although it is directed and specialized for Forex, all of the skills, I crafted them to be transferable to any market that you're looking at. So again, visit IamJustSing.com and check out the Mastering the Market course today if you are truly looking to master the market. You feel me? It's why you clash with he's catty like a female. You feel me? I'm using female for dramatic effect. He just argue like a woman. Like you just why? Because it's 2 feminine energies clashing. And when 2 feminine energies clash, this is what you get. One side is going to pick destruction, and it happens to be the man side. And that's what you have to submit to. So imagine you having to submit to a creation. Now, so for that man to be the creator that he needs to be and use this, he can't be in correction. I mean, in opposition to the other creative energy in his house, which is feminine energy. So the woman has to submit to that. 2 ways she's going to submit to that. He's going to beat her. He's going to emotionally abuse her. He's going to mentally abuse her. He's going to really suppress her, keep her away from her friends, and fuck up her real feminine energy so she can't create anything. So now he's the creator. She now has to depend on his creation. You dig what I'm saying? Or he's going to make sure she's younger. She's too stupid to even know what the fuck I'm doing. She just happy to be with an older dude. I done told her that, yo, you're mature for your age. Look, I knew this woman. I think I had to be like 28. She was 26. And I told her she was too young for me. She was like, how the fuck am I too young for you? We're 2 years. I'm telling you, baby girl, you're too young for me. You feel me? I'm not speaking just from physical age. You know, I'm like, yo, even if we talking like, if we really get to the nitty gritty, a lot of people are too young for me. But I got to stick within the confines of what I can, stay in on this level. You feel what I'm saying? So she was like, I dated a man who was like, she was 26 and he was like 33. And she said he said I was mature for your age. No. He was immature for his. And I'm more mature than both y'all motherfuckers. Like, come on, bro. Like, I'm at a different level. I'm telling you, baby girl, you're too young for me. So she wanted to talk or whatever the case may be. So I'm like, all right, look, we can be friends, but I'm telling you, it's not going to work. You're too young for me. And the more we talked, she was like, "Oh, I used to always like the guys like you and stuff like that." And so they never wanted to talk. I said, "So you don't even have experience dealing with somebody like me. You feel me? You got experience dealing with immature motherfuckers. You're not ready for this. I'm trying to be nice and tell you this shit. You feel me? I'm trying to be nice and tell you this shit. But like I said, it's about the submissive piece. You feel me? Men are able to be predators because of that. You feel me? We find the women that are going to submit, not the women that are going to be harmonizing with us. This is why the women in my space are either my age, slightly older, because I know how to harmonize with women. It's like, how can you? Because I know what the harmony is. I don't want to control them. I want to unleash them because I know when unleashing her, it unleashes me. It unlocks shit within me. See, that submission shit is about tame. It's about taming it. I have never met a woman like on some real shit. This is a zero statistic. I have never met a single woman who has taught that submission shit, who has taught being submissive, who is in a relationship but not miserable, or who's actively submitting to a man and still in a relationship. I've never seen the two. I hope I said that right, because it is Mercury retrograde shit. I've never seen the two work together. A lot of the women that I'm talking to, like not physically talking to, like trying to get with or anything, but a lot of conversations that I have is women say, I will submit to a man who can do blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, are you submitting to a man right now? No, because ain't no man. See, then shut the fuck up about submission, because you won't. You won't. You won't. And then the women that are actively submitting to a man, everybody's looking at it like, yo, why you still with that dude? Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, he ain't doing what he's supposed. Well, we married, so it's like he ain't holding up his end of the shit. You don't feel satisfied. You don't feel fulfilled, but you still in it. You submit it. Now, show me the anomaly. Show me the anomaly without describing that they have harmonized with their man and their man hasn't harmonized back with them. You can't, because you bought into the notion of what submission really is. This is why it's no mystery. All these women that keep trying to talk the submissive shit, they single. The women that talk the submissive shit within the confines of it being, I'm submitting to this, I'll submit to a man who can give me all of these things. So basically, you're going to submit to a man who can harmonize with who you are. Okay. At that point, you won't have to submit. Do you see what I'm talking about? You feel me? Those women that say that, they're still single. Like, I'm watching it. Even the top ones up, the top Dundada ones, whatever the case may be, the high value women, whatever. The issue is they're not submitting because they know within their core they don't submit to men they harmonize with. How the fuck, like, this is real respect. You feel me? This ain't no black woman is God shit, no dick riding shit. But there's no reason why I could come from the womb of a woman and then and the one has to submit to me. The fuck? That shit don't make sense to me. Like, I come from the portal in which I am able to manifest into this world is through a woman. You feel what I'm saying? So, as they say, from the earth in which you come is the earth in which you return. In order for me to live, I have to come from the woman. I have to go back in it. You dig what I'm saying? How the fuck can I submit to that? How can I have that submit to me? Now, my brothers, you need to listen well. Whenever I say this shit, understand I do not submit to women. Don't get it fucked up. Please don't. Please don't. Because that's the bullshit that y'all always want to throw in there. I ain't submitting to no woman. Okay, nigga, don't. I ain't say I was. I said no woman has to submit to me. That means our powers can co-create together. We don't have to relinquish the power because we understand the power and the strength between the two of us. So we're not clashing. I'm not operating from toxic femininity. I'm operating from divine masculinity. You feel what I'm saying? So we easily able to come together. Y'all be operating from toxic femininity. Now you're like, oh, I got to pick a choice. I just had a conversation with somebody and he was like, bro, if I would have said that shit, they would have told me to pieces. I think I said something about, I had a post. It was like, I mean, they know I didn't make the post, but it was like, bitches do something. Something. I don't remember it verbatim. He was like, if I would have said that, they would have slayed me. He said, good thing you can say. I said, because let me show you the difference between, this is the level of the difference between divine masculine and toxic feminine. You feel me? Understand that being called toxic feminine does not mean that I'm calling y'all gay. All right. Separate that shit. It means that you operate from the perspective of creation, but your creation has been shifted to destruction to be in opposition to the natural feminine essence that women exude. All right. Divine masculine, totally different, right? So they're like, yo, how can you say this shit to women? But if I say it, because I said, as the divine masculine that I am, I don't spend hours berating them and telling them they ain't shit. Because I said, what you don't understand is in that same breath of that post that I made, I got to see what the post is now because it's got to make context. If it's not in context, it's going to throw the whole conversation off of what I'm talking about. Give me one motherfucking second, right? So I'm going to keep talking just so it ain't no dry space. So, okay, so the post said, bitches post a half naked pic with the caption, all his. And then it said, then what the fuck you showing us for? You feel me? So I made that post. Now, a lot of the women commented on it and they were laughing and everything. So the bull was like, yo, if I would have posted that, they would have slaved me and everything. I said, they're not going to come for me like that because I don't spend every single moment of my time doing that. I said, I'm like, even before that, I had literally just reposted a video for one of my homegirls about how the silhouette challenge, which is going to be so frail conversation this motherfucking Friday. I need to talk to y'all niggas about how the silhouette challenge was taking away, you can take away the filter and shit. Instantly, I posted that shit for him. Like, yo, my sisters, I don't know if y'all who seen or who about to do it there, but like, yo, thank you. So I'm like, the divine masculine side, I can still say certain shit. I can still do certain shit, but it allows for me to express it from a perspective that is not destructive. And this is why they're more receptive to the things that I do. And I don't spend 100% of my time bashing and saying, yo, see, the women ain't shit. See, the women ain't shit. I'll be like, yo, here goes some shit. Here goes some women that are the shit, bro. Here goes some type of night. Let's gravitate towards this energy, bro. If you harmonize with it, it comes to you, bro. I'm telling you, I'm around it all the time. You feel me? I tell y'all this shit all the time. I'll be like, look, I get how y'all feel, but I don't have that same experience with black women. Do you know why? Because I choose not to. I know it seems like it's crazy. It's like, yo, the problem is when I was in the trenches and I was having these crazy broads and shit, it's because I like crazy broads. I wanted crazy broads to do sane broad shit. I ain't gonna say broad. I wanted crazy broads to do sane women shit just so I could have the distinction. No, it don't wait. It don't work that way. You feel me? A lot of y'all want bad bitches to be queens. They can't. I know it seems crazy. It's like, yo, we can't keep pouring into them. Well, don't call them a queen. This right here is one of the reasons why when I respond to y'all, I either say bro or I either say sis, because I don't use the God thing. I don't use the king thing. I don't use the queen thing, the goddess thing. I don't use those terms anymore because I know people say, well, if I say it to you enough, it'll come out of you. No, if I say it to you enough, you think that your level is what that is. And it dilutes the actual reality of what the fuck it is. I will not do that to myself. I will not do that to you. If I do not see the God in you, if I do not see the goddess in you, if I do not see the king in you, the queen in you, I will. That is what it is. But the reason why I use bro and sis and all y'all is simply because whatever level you are, you could still be my brother or my sister because I can be at that level with you too, whether I'm at that level currently or not. You see what I'm saying? So the word shit is very, very important to be able to do. You feel me? So now that was a quick tangent. We're gonna bring it back to the submissive side. You feel what I'm saying? So the divine masculine doesn't need submission; it needs harmony. And my brothers, we don't even know that it's our divine masculine that is calling out when we say, "Be my peace." You feel me? And that's what's calling out. It's our inner self. But we don't get it because we don't bring it out. Because harmony, this is when it gets fucked up. The quality in which a woman is going to treat you is dependent upon what you bring out of her, what you show her you need. You feel me? When you can start to calibrate yourself to say, I need this brought out of me, I promise, and I can stamp this with a guarantee, those type of women who can do that and bring it out of you will show up. And they will show up in mass numbers. And you don't even know. You're just like, damn, how the fuck am I able to start meeting these women? And now you fuck it up because you have not prepared for that quality of woman. Same with my sisters. Don't gas this motherfucking shit because y'all are in the same position too. because you want to operate from your divine feminine. You've been trying to do it for so long. You now reaching the point. I'm single because my divine feminine won't submit. I'm single because my divine feminine doesn't submit. It needs to be unleashed. And then you meet the man who can bring that shit out of you, and you have not prepared for that motherfucker. You have spent all of your life, my sisters, you have spent all of your life preparing for a man to submit to, and you have not prepared for a man to unleash you. My brothers, you have prepared all your life to find a woman to submit and not find a woman that you're supposed to unleash. Goddamn, thank you, Mercury retrograde. I'm kicking these motherfucking gems. Y'all sit with that while I sip my water real quick. All right, that was a nice little moment of silence right there. Look, that is what the battle is about. The new wave in which we're going, the new direction in which people are going, the old shit is dead. Men do not need women to submit to them. The divine masculine men don't. The divine feminine women cannot be submissive. I don't care who you think you are. If you want to have a debate, if you want to have an argument, we can go bat for bat, round for round with this shit. I'm going to show you that women are not supposed to submit. And the single women, the motherfuckers, that's why you single now. That's why you ain't got no man. Those are the divine feminine women. Those are the women who know that they're supposed to be unleashed and unlocked. You dig what I'm saying? On the other side of that, I'm not going to say all, some of the divine feminine men that are divine masculine men that are single right now are because they're able to unlock shit in women who don't want to be unlocked. They don't want to be unleashed. You feel what I'm saying? When I tell the situations about the women that I was with in my past, everything was related to me bringing something out of them. I have never in my life been with the woman who I did not make better, even in the toughest times. You dig what I'm saying? Mind you, I'm in a relationship, like I said, that first heartbreak that I got in, I was in a relationship where I was being drained and depleted and didn't know it. Even taken down to my worst level, I brought this woman up to her highest peak. If that masculinity ain't divine, I don't know what it is. I'm going to toot my horn on that one, goddamn. I do this shit. I don't talk about it much often. You know, sometimes I joke and be like, yo, I'm really a beta. I'm just an aggressive beta. I do that shit to deflect from what it really is because it takes work to be with the divine masculine. Y'all want the shit. Women crave the shit, but they don't want to be unleashed and unlocked. Because as soon as the pressure puts on them, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. And see, look, the type of divine masculine I am and being an Aries too, you going to get shit popping. You going to get shit started. People don't even realize, like, it's almost fucking 1-to-1. Whenever new women come into my space, I can already tell she wants to be a business owner, or she has a business that she's working on, she's starting on, and she comes into my space. It's just a matter of time. I'm like, all right, where is it coming from? You know, I want to do this. You know, I think I want to do this. Do it. Wait, it's that easy? Yeah. And I'm gonna be your spark. I'm gonna unleash you in this shit. I'm gonna show you how to do this shit. I got a home girl right now. This is one of my closest homies right now. I remember when I first lit her fire, not sexual, but I mean in a real divine masculine way. And I said, do that shit. She's been on this motherfucker. Let me see. It'll be 3 years now, going on 3 years now. And she's like, oh my gosh, it's just things are evolving. And I said, I know. That's what it's like for you to be unleashed. That's what it's like for, like, I do this shit. I unleash women, bro. I unleash them. This is why I be telling my brothers, and it's like my relationships with women are off of that. You feel me? So it's like, well, the divine, like, how do you do it and still be single? Because I know how to do it on the platonic level, the romantic level, and the intimate level. Those women that I've unleashed, they were platonic friends. You feel me? However, when it comes to the romantic level and the intimate level, the reason why it gets different, because you can't run from me anymore. When the platonic friends decide, I don't want to put in any work. I don't want to be unleashed. I want to be submissive. I want to be in that space. I don't want to be on the divine shit. I want to be on the submissive shit, where it's just like, okay, I don't have to do the work. You feel what I'm saying? They can walk away from it if it's platonic. When you're in my intimate space, you can't run from me. You can't run from me. And they know that. So they walk away from it. You feel what I'm saying? They walk away from it. Like I said, the shorty that was sitting on $1 billion idea still has not brought that shit into reality because she doesn't want to, because she doesn't want to be unleashed. She has, like most women in this world, have been programmed to be submissive, never to be unleashed. She never once registered to it. Your attitude ain't difficult to me. These things, like, she's like, whenever I get upset, you just neutralize the shit, cuz. You feel me? I'm gonna let you unleash yourself, but I'm gonna show you how to redirect that shit and control it, like how you control yourself. I don't have to control you. The control that I'm able to give off, and I'm not even gonna call it control, but I'm using it for lack of a better term, is my response to women shows them not to talk to me like that no more. I don't have to yell. I don't have to get upset. I can navigate them back to a point where, yo, watch that shit, without having to even tell them to watch that shit. They just correct the behavior and don't even know it. Shit's fucking beautiful. I love doing it. You feel what I'm saying? I've had one woman tell me, like, she was like, I'm always arguing shit. She was like, you know what? I don't, like, how do you, she was like, I can tell you don't like to argue. And I can tell the moment I raise my voice, you just, and she was like, and it just makes me, I know. I do this shit. I do this shit. Because that's what divine masculine is. Y'all think divine masculine is the perfect manliness. You'll know when you're in the presence of divine masculine because that shit is unleashing you. But like I said, when you've been raised to be submissive, when you've been conditioned in programs to be submissive, to concede, to give up, and to be in disharmony with the motherfucker, you feel what I'm saying? You'll never be unleashed. Why? Like, nobody's looking at how disharmonized our relationships are when we are in submissive states. When women are submissive to us and we're looking for a woman to submit, we don't realize how much disharmony, because men, we don't like that shit. We don't like that shit. It's time we admit that shit 100%. We don't like that shit. Men may not tell you. I'm going to be one of the first to tell you, I don't like submissive women. Most of my brothers don't like submissive women. When we're young and we're playing and we're having fun, it's like, yeah, I just tell her whatever, man. She fucking believes me, bro. I dick her down and she's good. That's submissive women. Let's keep it 100. We're adults. We're going to talk. You feel me? That's that submissive shit. You feel me? But when it's not submissive anymore and it's being unleashed, it's like, yo, I got to do shit to you. I got to talk to you. I got to do shit. You feel me? That's one of the quandaries that I be in. I know my shit, my essence unleashes women. It makes it like, there's not a woman, like any woman that pops up into my space automatically, somehow she this, damn, how did you, like, you did? Yeah, I do this. I unleash women. I unleash the woman in my space on any level, platonic, intimate, and romantic. Now, I'm very reserved on the romantic and intimate sides now, because it's like some women want that just to waste the time. And it's like they don't even have the capacity to be what they want to be because they don't know it, because they've been so used to submitting all of their lives. You feel me? And knowing deep down inside, they just want harmony. You feel me? They want harmony. And they know that they want harmony by the way that they describe submission. A submissive woman is one who's going to be allowed to be soft. She's going to be in her creative space. She's going to be all of the shit that can. She's allowed to be in her divine masculine. Her divine feminine and not her masculine. That's what it means to be submissive. No, that's what it means to be in harmony. To be submissive means that you're in your feminine and I'm in my feminine, and it's toxic, and I can't let your feminine shine. I don't operate from toxic feminine energy. I operate from my masculine energy. You feel me? Y'all have yet to conceive that shit. When you trying to submit to men, you're submitting to toxic feminine men. That's why the shit don't work. That's why you either have the miserable women in relationships who just need a man to get his shit together, or you're dealing with a single woman praising about how they will get, when they get with the man, they'll have the man to submit to. You feel me? And I'm not just putting it on the sisters, making it seem like they can't find men, because this is our problem too. You feel me? Because you have us that are like, we know that women ain't supposed to submit to us. We know we got to put in the work. I ain't about to put in the work to unleash her. Fuck that. I'm going to get me a submissive bride, So the ones who are in the relationships with the quote unquote submissive woman, it's like, yo, you'll step out and cheat. Because she ain't enough. She just don't do it for me, bro, because she's submitting to you. You don't know that your essence doesn't like submissive women. Your essence doesn't require submissive women. It requires your task as an action-oriented being, the masculine man, to unleash the energy out of that woman. That's your task for life. And you don't even know the shit. So you looking for, man, I want me a woman that's gonna submit. So the men that are in the relationships with submissive women, they're likely gonna cheat, they're likely miserable, and they likely looking at somebody on the side. They're the ones that have to be watched. They're the ones that become the fuck boys. Because like if you was gonna do that, you should have just been single. Well, then you have the motherfuckers who single who know that. I don't like women submitting to me. I'm not gonna admit it. I just don't like women submitting to me. I like the free, and they like, so why you always fucking with these hoes? Because those are the motherfuckers who ain't submissive. But I know that society has structured my mind to where I cannot be with that type of woman. You feel me? The sexually free, the sexual, like, I can't be with that type of woman because society's gonna say, oh, yo, she this, she that, third. You need a submissive woman. I'm more present. The masculine man is far more present and far more intimately involved with the quote unquote hoes than he is with the modest women. Do you know why? Because the hoes are already unleashed. The hoes are already unleashed. But with the programming in my mind, I will simultaneously criticize and critique the motherfucking woman who's I'm talking about sexual liberation and she's free for that. And then say, I want that. But then my programmer says, I'm not, no, you can't be a woman like that. You can't be free. Cover that shit up. Go put a turtleneck on in the summertime because I don't know how to unleash you. You feel me? And when I say unleash, I mean turn the beast to a god. And I'm not saying a woman who's in her space like that, she's embracing her sexual energy out of that. She's out. But I'm going to say it like this. If she's in her sexual energy and she's embracing her sexuality, she's tapping into it more. You feel me? And she's not using it outside of anything but to get some dick. She's in her beast mode. Now, I'm not saying turn the hoe into a housewife. By no means. I'm not giving that pass. The hell no. You didn't hear Scene say that shit. You feel me? But what I'm saying is your energy is supposed to flip that upside down. Case in point, I watched two different dynamics of the women embracing their sexual energy, and this shit was fucking beautiful. It was with the busted challenge and the silhouette challenge. That is the physical and the visual representation right now that you can see in real time of the beast versus the god. This is not saying the women that are like break the mentality of what I'm saying is instead of beast and god, I'm gonna say this. This is the duality between the 6 and the 9. The 6, according to numerology, spirals down. Same essence. The 9 spirals up from the spiral down to the spiral up of divinity, right? These are the realities. So when you look at the busted challenge, it's still embracing sexuality. It's still embracing her creativity, her energy. She gets dressed, she does her makeup, she drops it down low and everything like that. It's the visual expression. You feel me? That's one side of it. The other side is the silhouette challenge. You feel me? You see nothing. Everything is like, oh, I got to figure it out. And then you perverted motherfuckers. This is why I'm saving this shit for So Frail Conversations. It's going to come out on motherfucking Friday. Because you motherfuckers started to take the filters off. Can't, y'all. Yeah. You feel me? And now, with these motherfuckers, that goes into the toxic femininity. Your objection is to be creative to destroy. Create destruction. You feel what I'm saying? Create destruction. So I'm saying that to say this. Now let me tie it back into the submissive part, right? And bring it back to my brothers. So my brothers, I'm not saying be out here like those women that are embracing sexuality. You feel me? They're not in the space. And now let me quick say this too, because I know y'all like, did he just say the busted challenge was for the hoes? And is it? No, that's not what I'm saying. Because I know women that have done the busted challenge. I'm saying as far as the visual representation, as far as the actual comparison between the two. You feel what I'm saying? The silhouette challenge had a different feel to it. It had a different captivation to it. It wasn't anything seen, anything that you knew you can do. You feel me? It was like, wow, she's tapping into her shadow side. You feel me? But in tapping into her shadow side, it's more so the divine side. Is everything's a mystery. You feel what I'm saying? As opposed to, you feel me, the other side of it being popping, her knees and all that shit. But let me get back to the point. It's Mercury retrograde. If you didn't get that shit, it's not my fault. So, yeah. So my brothers, it's like we know that we can't be fucking with hoes, or we know that we shouldn't be fucking with hoes. So we interpret the sexual liberation as, oh, no, I don't want no hoe. I know women who embrace their sexuality that ain't fucking. Like, you got to earn that shit, bro. You feel me? Because it's levels. It's levels to shit. You feel me? When I used to be in my early days, when I used to get some ass like a motherfucker, right? The best sex that I always got was from the women that were hoes. Because they were free. They knew they wanted their nut. They knew they wanted to get it. And they knew how. And they wasn't afraid to tell you that, yo, like, I'm telling you, the best sex that I had is for the women that say, look, be you. If I knew she had bodies, now, I always use protection, don't get me wrong. But if I knew she had bodies, chances are she was gonna be able to come. If, oh, I only had sex with like 3 people. You gonna get fucked. You feel what I'm saying? You not ready for this. You don't have much experience with this shit. You feel what I'm saying? I'm going to do you dirty right now. Like, you gonna be, oh my God, now you hooked on the motherfucker because I've had experience and I was allowed to have experience with you. So now we switch that, because we have to understand that with the divine feminine, divine masculine, it's not to be out here frivolously fucking either. Give your all to the moment that requires it. You feel me? This is why I tell people I'm selectively celibate. Now, I still haven't broke the celibacy yet because I'm still on the select. You know what I'm saying? I hadn't had a chance to be selective because now it's different. It's like, yo, I need a woman who's able to embrace her sexuality from the God level. You feel me? There's levels to the shit. Like, she knows what she, like, you feel me? It's different. So that perspective all ties this back into it, because submission goes hand in hand. It goes off of both sides. This is why our relationship struggle. Because I told you, I've been telling y'all for a minute. I was like, in the Aquarian age, what's going to happen is masculinity is going to come back. And then it's going to allow femininity to emerge right. But femininity has to emerge the right way, or it's going to be confused. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm watching how, like I said, women is like, yo, I'll submit to a man who I can submit to, whatever the case may be, but they still single. How the fuck are you still single? Because you're not willing to submit to a man, because you know you don't submit to men. You harmonize with them. You feel me? Me, I got brothers, me and like in my like, why y'all single? Y'all like, because we don't like submissive women. Nobody gets that shit. We don't fuck with it. Chances are there's one or two things. Like I said, it's the beast and the God. It's the beast and the God. Now I can use us from this perspective. The beast and the God. If that man, if you have the man who's like, quote unquote, high value. So I would say divine masculine, fuck high value. You got the divine masculine man that you know in his core is still divine masculine, but he's still single. You asking himself why. You feel me? On one side, it's like all of the women will be, he can have them all. He can do this, that, and the third. And that's why he don't. You don't even catch that shit. That's why he won't. You feel me? Because in all of the women he can have, he understands that they all can't be unleashed. But he can recognize these women just want to be submissive. They're leeches at that point. They can't come into my space with that. I've had women say, oh, I just want to find a man that's going to take care of me. So I can stay home and I can cook and I can do all of this shit. Oh, you comfortable being submissive women? Like, women get mad at that shit. You feel me? Well, I always had this conversation when I talk about submission and shit. Motherfucker, well, first off, no, half. Half is the problem. Women always talk about, we going half and this, that, and the third, and I shouldn't have to go half. And they always say the same shit. They rattle off the shit that they've agreed to as submissive beings. I shouldn't have to cook. I shouldn't have to clean, take care of the kids and all of this, and still got to pay half. Yes, you should. Yes, you should. That's what submissive means. You shut the fuck up. You submit. You give up shit. Shut the fuck up and take what you submitted to. You feel me? See, y'all can't in one breath talk about shit you want to do and then exhibit the behavior. You feel me? Oh, I want to be a submissive woman. It's like, all right, cool. Submissive woman, they stay home, they cook, they clean, they do all that shit. Now you mad because the man won't have. See, when you on that divine masculine tip, my brothers, here's a tip. I'm gonna tell you like this. Going half isn't even a thought. Y'all going half. Don't get me wrong. Y'all going half. But y'all don't have to discuss going half because y'all will be making so much that half will be irrelevant. Y'all will be abundantly bringing so much into reality because when you unleash her and she's unleashed, she's not submitting to you. You feel me? She's not submitting to you. Therefore, her creative energy is abundant. You are willing to put 100% into her because she gets 100% into you. 50-50? Y'all are technically going 50-50, but nobody's paying attention or nobody even gives a fuck about half because it's so interwoven to each other that half is irrelevant. Half is irrelevant. You dig what I'm saying? I'm going to use an example for myself. You feel what I'm saying? Hypothetically speaking, I had a homeboy ask me, he was like, yo, bro, would you date a woman that made more than you? Hell yeah. Why? I don't get it. Cause motherfucker, she makes more than me. She gives me the money. I invest it and flip it. And then now what? Collaboration, not competition. You feel me? I am supposed to collaborate with my other. Divine masculine harmonizes and it collaborates with the divine feminine. It doesn't compete with it. That's when energies are the same. That's when toxic femininity has to battle femininity. And if two toxic femininities come together, oh hell, that is some shit. But anyway, the point that I'm making with that is that when you in your divine masculine space and your goal and your focus and you understand that divine masculine is to unleash the woman, not to control her, not to make her submit, not to humble her, you will see certain shit transpire out in a whole different world. So when you come to a reality, so when I tell women, it's like, yeah, we gonna have. What kind of man are you? You talking about half? I'm telling you, the abundance that me and my woman gonna have is like half. Like what you think is half, we ain't even gonna know who account it came from. So when I say half on the bills, when I say half on the shit, we're gonna have a pot, bro. We're gonna have a pot where we're both putting half of our shit into. And then when shit got to get paid, it's just, all right, reach into the pot. It ain't gonna be, I grabbed my $3 today and I used 7 of yours. No, I just took from the pot. I don't know whose money it was at this particular point, but it's mixed. That 50% has combined to be irrelevant. So again, here's what I'm saying. There's levels to this shit. You feel me? So it's like when you on that submissive shit, half is bad. Half is bad. When you on that, oh, I want to submit to men. You're going to submit to a man who can't grow, who can't unleash you. See, because the trick to the shit, after you unleash a woman, you're also built to be prepared for what she becomes as you unleash her. A lot of us don't know that. You feel me? This is why we get with the bad bitches and we unleash something in her. And we don't understand what we're supposed to be releasing what harmonizes with us to bring harmony. We release to bring disharmony. I like me a good crazy broad. All right, cool. That's what you're going to magnify. That's what you're going to bring out. I don't like that shit no more. So I started to tap into bring into what I want. I unleash out of women what I want to make music with me. I bring that shit the fuck out. So when I discuss, yo, we're going to be going half. We in a whole different pocket of half. When our bills, when the shit that we got to put money out for ain't even 10% of the half we just put together, she ain't tripping about going half with me. And I ain't tripping about going half with her. You feel me? Because we're going to be in 2 totally different pockets at that point. You feel me? The problem is, like I said, when it comes to submission, this is what it all ties down to. Men, we're naturally, innately wired to unleash women, to make them better. You feel me? Excite them. Look at nature, bro. I'm going to say this. Look at fucking, before I say that metaphor. All right. And women are naturally designed to be unleashed, not to submit to us. They're not to be controlled. Like women can, you can, after this conversation, really evaluate what you think about submission and watch and pay attention to your circle. So all of the women, watch all of the women who be like, I submit to a man. They single. I submit to a man who's willing, who can be submitted to. They single. And the women that are actively submitting to a man, they're miserable. And it's somewhere overlap in between. I know this is one of the quintessential pieces that I always put it into my perspective. I will always hear women say shit like, he's a good father, but he's not a good husband. How can that be? There's no way those two things should be separate. The issue is you've submitted to this man and he never brought anything out of you. Therefore, you don't harmonize positively with him to make him the good husband. And my brothers too. Yo, man, she's a good mother, but she just don't do it for me because you are not unleashing your wife. Simple. But anyway, back to the nature example that I was talking about. So as men, with unleashing, we're supposed to ignite shit in women. You feel me? Penguins dance, peacocks fan their feathers out. The fucking birds do mating rituals. They have mating rituals. We are supposed to unleash something in her naturally. But they got them submitting to us. You feel me? So we don't have to unleash it. This is why I say this structure, this construct was created by beta motherfucking males and epsilon males who are toxic feminine. And we following this shit like it's supposed to be the way. Because they put on suit and ties and they got on power suits and they got to, no. Until you able to unleash, and here's my rap. You ain't no motherfucking man in my eyes. You ain't no motherfucking God in my eyes. You ain't no motherfucking Netter. You ain't no motherfucking Heru. You ain't none of this shit until you can unleash until you have unleashed a woman. And not only unleashed her in the sense of do destructive shit, unleashed her in a way to where her creation is 100% positive and she's giving something back to the world. Until you do that shit, you ain't no motherfucking God in my book. And don't forget to take a moment to go get your exclusive merchandise from Just Scenes merch. At Just Scenes, each piece is specifically crafted with positive imagery and symbolism. From the titles and designs to the descriptions, each style gives you something to feel great about. With everything from hoodies and tees to coffee mugs and tote bags, we have something for the entire family. So be sure to get yours today. Find us on Instagram at Just Scenes merch and get your merchandise right now. But remember, it is Mercury retrograde. I didn't really say that shit. I ain't really say that shit. You just heard it. I'm gonna start wrapping it up there. This topic right here, harmony and submission. I was having this with one of my homegirls, and we was talking about submission. I was like, yo, it's submission. I said, I don't fuck with it. And this is why people ask me, yo, why don't? A lot of people when they ask me why I don't fuck with religion, they think it's because I'm angry with God or whatever the case may be. I said, no, I like women. This shit don't. It don't work for me. It's as simple as that. That's why I know it the way that I know it. But when I started realizing it, I was like, yo, I really fuck with women. I really, really like women, like as a being, as an essence. Like I like women. And I like women who are free, who have unleashed themselves. You feel me? There's women who have been unlocked, but not unleashed. You feel me? It's different. You feel me? A little bit. But it's like, I've always been this way. Even when I was in I used to, look, I never forget on my MySpace page, I had this quote, this little caption quote thing. I said, ain't no need. I said, there's no reason. What did I say, ain't no point in locking her down if I got the key. I used to say that shit. That's how I used to take dudes, girls, because it works. And this is why we do the shit we do. Your man ain't me. Hey, you do it but we come from a negative perspective. We always doing it in competition to men. Not in the sense of, I'm going to unleash this woman. You feel me? I want to see the best out of this woman. Every woman that I involve myself with, I try to see the best out of them. I try to see the greatest out of them. I try to get everything out of them. I want to unleash them because it does something to me. It makes me a stronger man. It makes me a better man. It makes me more creative. It gives me that drive, that fire, bro. I'm telling you, when y'all tap in for real, and y'all stop looking for submissive women and you start looking for women you can unleash, now every woman can't be unleashed. You feel me? Every woman can't be unleashed. You feel me? My sisters, every man can't unleash you. Shit, y'all kind of know already and shit. Trust me, I hear y'all conversation. But every man can't unleash you. So my brothers, you need to understand, like, you have to know how to tap into that divine masculine so you can learn how to be solid enough in one, unleashing a woman, but knowing what to do with it. What do you do with the unleashed woman? You know, they say you can't turn a bad girl good, but once a good girl goes bad, she's gone forever. That's unleashing a woman, but we do it in the wrong way. You feel me? What is it that we bring? We fuck them up. That's where the fuck boy has got, like, this is why women love fuck boys. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. And this is why we continue to be fuck boys. But we don't know the depths of it. Because the details of a fuck boy are so bad, but it's the principle. The woman has been unleashed. She's not controlled. She's not bound. She's been unleashed by the fuck boy. It's the mission and the task of the man to unleash the woman, but do it in a way that harmonizes for a positive experience. The reason why fuck boys get such a bad rap, because we are already exhibiting a negative energy, and we're going to unleash that woman. So when we unleash them, it is in light of our negative expression. That's what turns them bad. So you have to have quote unquote fuckboy energy. Principally, don't be on the fuckboy shit, y'all. Come on. Principally, you have to be on that fuckboy energy. Or what the fuckboy energy does, it unleashes women. This is why no matter how many baby mamas he got, Future can get another baby mama right now. This dude I'd say he got the most baby mamas out in the record right now. But this is what it is. He's unleashing these women. It's just from the negative perspective. If you can unleash a woman from the positive perspective, it's a whole different dynamic. You get you a Sarabi. You feel me? You get you a woman that operates from that perspective. You feel me? Learn how to do that shit, bro. My sisters, you have to learn how to be receptive to being unleashed from the positive perspective, because this is why oh, fuck boy this, fuck boy that. That's why y'all calling for fuck boys. And that's why y'all keep getting fuck boys, because you're asking to be unleashed from a negative perspective. You know you want to be unleashed. You know you don't want to be controlled. A fuck boy is that principal energy is the only thing that can give it to you. And you know it. But you've never had it from the positive perspective, because that's where our bridge is. That's where it's fucked up. That's where our disconnect is. My brothers, we don't know how to unleash a woman positively. We only know how to do it negatively. We've been practicing for a long time. I've been telling y'all for a long time, they fucked up our masculinity a long time ago off the core. So we respond this way. You feel me? Our sisters, you feel me? They just know how to be unleashed from the negative perspective. So when a good girl goes bad and she stops giving a fuck, boy, you feel me? But you got to know how to unleash her from that perspective. You feel me? A lot of the women that I've unleashed over the last couple of years and shit, we couldn't be together because they didn't want to go from the positive side. You feel me? They're like, oh, I don't submit. They love when I tell them I don't like women who submit to me and everything, but I don't like women who can just be free reigning, wild and crazy in my life. I don't like that shit. My unleashing shows you how to discipline that shit. My unleashing shows you how to have consistency and how to have focus with certain shit. And women don't even realize, a lot of women don't even catch on to why they're fucking with me. But at the same time, why it's hard to fuck with somebody like me. My brothers, we don't be difficult. We don't be difficult. It's just when you understand how to unleash a woman from the positive perspective, whether consciously or unconsciously, whether you are actually aware that you now know how to unleash a woman or you weren't before, but whether you knew that or not, you knew that you were unleashing women. You knew that you were unleashing something positive out of them, and they weren't able to handle it. So they would, oh, it's you wasted my time, you this, that, and the third. I know women right now that are using my lingo with the other man that she with, because she got that taste of what it was to be unleashed and didn't want it. So let me step back to where I can be submissive. I don't want to be unleashed anymore because it requires work. It requires work. It requires work. A submissive woman don't have to work with a man. High key, a lot of women, because they bought into the submissive notion, are willing to not have to work in a relationship. You feel me? They say happy life, happy wife, or some shit like that. Yeah, happy wife, happy life. No, happy wife, happy life. Not realizing that the wife is supposed to be responsible for her own happiness. But when she submits to me, I control her happiness. Bang. I'm telling y'all, I'm coming with it today. When she submits to me, I control her happiness. And because I can control her happiness, I control her. But the unleashed woman, she knows how to create her own happiness. So with or without me, she can be happy, which means it's not my responsibility to do that. So when we're in a relationship, she's bringing me her happiness. I'm not making her happy. I don't have to. She's able to come to me with her happiness, and I'm able to come to her with my happiness. She doesn't have to make me happy. You feel me? But it's about understanding that true dynamic of being unleashed, the unleashing. You feel me? I think I'm gonna change the title of the shit to the unleashing or some shit like that. The opposite is submission. I don't know. I still don't got the title because I'm still in the middle of it. Well, not the middle of it. I'm on the last end. I'm about to start wrapping up. But yeah, this is the shit that nobody wants to come to terms with, and nobody really wants to speak on and say, you know, hey, bruh, we need to do this, or hey, bruh, we need to do that, because everybody like, yo, you get you a woman that submit. Why? I don't want a woman that submit. We don't even want to admit that we don't like women that submit. Especially alphas. If you, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. You really want to know if you're in the presence of an alpha? It ain't just the fact that he can say he's an alpha. He got muscles. He got dreads. You feel me? He got a deep ass voice. You feel me? He look like he can fight. Whether he can fight or not is irrelevant. But he self-proclaims, I'm an alpha male. Alphas ain't never gotta call themselves alphas. You'll know you in the presence of an alpha by the way he unleashes you. Not only how he unleashes you, but when he unleashes you, you get better. You don't get volatile. You don't get destructive. You change and you become creative. That's when you know you fucking with an alpha. That's when you know when you fucking with an alpha. And even if you stop fucking with an alpha for real, the shit that he left you with, you can't erase it. It's like, yo, now you taking that shit to the next relationship and you like, yeah, this was such and such time. You know, you can't even conceive that that person did you wrong. The quote unquote women that are exes, they won't leave me alone. Now I don't know, they come back retrograde shit. Now we've healthily ended it, but at the same time, we are on good terms because they were in the presence of alpha shit. They're like, yo, you really inspired me. You really sparked me and got me doing something. I unleashed you. You just didn't want to be unleashed that. You just didn't want to be unleashed to the capacity that my essence needed. I can admit that. My shit is different. You know, I was just talking to one of my homegirls and she was like, she said, how do you change so easy? Why are you so adaptable? I'm like, it's just the way life is. You know what I mean? I was talking about transitioning from up to TikTok and everything, getting the new social media, you know, marketing and shit done. And she was like, as soon as something changes, you with it. Cause bro, I see it from the jump. You know what I mean? And the capacity in which I do, it goes a lot deeper. So when it comes to the woman that I unleash, I have enough power. I have enough inner strength. I have enough masculine energy to control whatever becomes unleashed out of that woman. You feel me? But it's all in what I bring out. I don't bring out the crazy side. When I unleash you, I'm not giving you free reign to be disrespectful to me. You feel me? I'm not giving you free reign to cuss me out, to talk to me like I'm a child. Speaking of, we got to stop talking to children like that. You feel me? Because if we know that it's disrespectful, it's for an adult to talk to you like that. You shouldn't talk to a motherfucking kid like that. But you feel me? You're not going to cuss me out. You're not going to call me out my name. You're not going to get disrespectful with me. I will unleash you, but none of that shit is coming with it. You feel me? When I say I give women free reign to be themselves, and that's the next problem. Because I always give free women, I unleash the ability and give them the free reign to be themselves, but they have not learned who they are. A submissive woman, the women who are quote unquote the submissive ones, the real submissive ones who are following it according to the doctrines and shit like that, the ones who are, they don't know who they are. This is why they can't be unleashed. They don't even know what the fuck they want out of life. They don't even know what they want for themselves. Their creative energy, a lot of the shit that they always want to do is I spark people. There's people right now that have started new businesses just from a conversation with me, just from, spending a decent amount of time with me. Because I unleash women. I unleash women. When you come into my space, especially as a woman, it's because you're ready to be unleashed. You don't know that you're ready to be unleashed. By this point, you know now. You feel me? You feel me? But I'm able to do it from a perspective of platonic, intimate, and romantic. You feel what I'm saying? But mainly it's just been platonic because it's like, all right, cool. I want the romantic shit. I want the intimate shit, but it gets harder because then it's like when women have been traumatized, when women have been hurt, when they start to feel that unleashing happening, they let go. They're starting to let go and they feel it. And they start to say, I don't trust this. Because if you unleash me and you let me, like, what's going to happen? Because in order for you to unleash a woman, she has to let you in. That's hard to do, especially when you're able to do it quickly. Now, I don't know, okay, I'm trying to pry and I'm trying to no. I just have a natural essence that lets women let me in, and it scares the fuck out of them because it's like, you're not even trying to finesse me or nothing. It's just because you were ready to be unleashed and you didn't know it. I just happen to be one of the safe places to show you what it is like to be an unleashing and not want to have anything from you. You feel me? My benefit, and this is as the divine masculine side for men, our benefit out of unleashing a woman is the creative force that unleashing her gives you to tap into. Because with masculinity, as I said, is the spiritual, mental, and physical embodiment of the essence of analysis and deconstruction. But you need something to synthesize. You need something to deconstruct and analyze. And what that is what you unleash out of a woman, what she's able to create. You can start to analyze and deconstruct that shit. And then give it back to her, to recreate it, to give it back to you, to keep it going. So we harmonize with each other. You're not going to do that with a submissive woman. And you know you're not going to do that with a submissive woman. And men and women, you're not going to be able to do that with a man you submit to. And experience shows you that you can't do it with a man you submit to. Why? Because if you could, you would not be miserable in the relationship in which in the relationship with the man you were submitting to. Or you would not still be single talking about, I'm willing to submit to a man, but only if he does X, Y, and Z. And this is no slight to y'all because this is us on my brother's side too. You feel me? We're looking for submissive women and we don't want them. We don't know it. We don't know it. There's high value men that are commercial shit. Then you have the divine masculine men. We're a different breed. Trust me. We're a totally different breed. And a lot of us are single. We don't know this is why it's like, yo, we know that we cannot be that soft side to a woman that, we know that we don't want a woman that submits to us because it doesn't drive us. It doesn't make us do anything in life. It doesn't make us push ourselves. We don't. We need a woman that we can unleash. And we know that. We know deep down inside, yo, you got to show me that you can be better. You got to show me that you can do these. That's what turns me on. Like, you feel me? Unleashing the woman turns me on. As my brothers, we have to come to terms with that shit. We don't like submissive women. A lot of the men that bitch about women, they like submissive women. That and it gets fucked up because it's like, why are you a single man? It's like some men are single because women won't submit to them. Some men are single because women will. You feel what I'm saying? It's crazy. It's crazy. I don't submit to women. And I don't want women submitting to me. I hate submissive women because it doesn't bring me anything. Nothing viable comes out of that situation for me. My natural essence is to unleash the woman. And I got brothers, homies who's like, yo, bro, I just can't get it, man. Every time I try to spark something, man, she just don't want to do it. She don't want to be unleashed. And you are an unleasher. You have the divine masculine that brings the best out of women. It brings the best out of that essence. But we have to break the barrier of the submissive concept. And we need to understand harmony. This is why there is no equality, because when we try to be the same, we have to operate from the same essence, which is femininity. Divine masculine won't allow you to operate in that space. You dig what I'm saying? Divine masculine will not allow you to operate in that space. It is solely designed to unleash the creative. It's solely designed to unleash the woman. You feel me? And the masculine energy, because it's finite. This is gonna be dope when I break it down, and I'm gonna wrap it up here. The masculine energy is designed to unleash or unbind what's in the woman, right? Which means that it is designed to let it go. However, the feminine energy is designed to bind and bring a capacity, kind of like a border to the man in a sense after the unleashing. But here's what's powerful, because masculinity, we're going to use it from sacred geometry perspective. Divine masculinity is a square. It's described as a square. Femininity is described as a circle. Both of these shapes measure 360 degrees. So when the unleashing happens, the man is designed to square the circle. You have to bring, when in unleashing it, you have to bring finite to the infinite. But in the same token, in unleashing that, it exposes your finite to the infinite. Until you're able to unlock and unleash the woman's infinite ability, but do it from the divine masculine to where it makes it finite. It doesn't stop. It doesn't control, but it keeps the infinite in a space where it's not just forever infinite, because infinity has a point where it has to stop. But that same expression and the same unleashing is when the woman's infinite removes the limitations from your finite. You feel what I'm saying? When motherfuckers ask me, yo, how do you learn so much? How are you able, like, I've experienced women so much that I know how to tap into the feminine myself, and I know how to square my circles and circle my squares. My brothers, you have to, if you're on that divine feminine shit, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Your relationships do not feel good unless you are unleashing a woman. My sisters, you know what I'm talking about. Your relationship does not feel good unless you are being unleashed. Now you know why. Submission is bullshit and it doesn't work. It ain't gonna do shit but keep us in the same confusing states that don't work. Why do relationships end up in divorce and all of this shit? Because you have married a man that you submitted to. My brothers, you have married a woman who submits to you and you don't like that shit. My sisters, you don't like that shit. And you know you don't like that shit because now you just become tolerant. This man brings nothing out of you, but he takes care of the kids. He makes sure everything's protected and provided for. That's just the first level of masculinity. Divine masculine. Now I protect and provide for you. And in the same aspect, I now unleash who you are. That's where it becomes a double-edged sword, because it's like I unleash her for another. Like I used to always ask myself, am I making women better for other men? Yeah, I was. I was making women better for other men. And women will always say shit like, I'm just being all of this for him to go with the next shit. And one thing that I changed in my perspective is not only I'm making this woman better for another man, but then when it's like, when I see the other man, it's like, yo, he's not on my level. So it used to make me, I used to wonder, but then now I'm like, it was never about me making her better for another man, but it was teaching me the power of unleashing a woman. In unleashing her, in unleashing those women who had to go and be with other men who were not at my level, that showed me my inner power, that I am at a level that they would not be able to handle even when I unleashed them. Same shit. For my sisters who feel like, yo, he got with another woman and she ain't even half the woman I am. She ain't this, that, and the third. Now that's debatable. I ain't gonna speak on that shit. But I'm saying it like this. when you are in that space and this man could not unleash you, but then he was able to go and be with this particular woman, and they was able to start a life, they was able to start a family, and all of that shit. He was like, he was able to do for her what he couldn't do for me. Exactly. You had your depths of unleashing were too deep for him. And if you were not so busy stuck on being submissive, you would have saw that. You would have been able to see, oh, you can't unlock me. You can't unleash me. Now, don't let your egos get involved and think, I need a man that's going to unleash me and unlock me because he got to be deep. Because you're going to sometimes bite off more than you can chew. Because then you're going to meet a motherfucker who's on the level, who can unlock you and more, and you can't go anymore. You have nothing left to be unlocked, and now you don't fulfill him. I've unlocked quite a few women in this, like, that's it. I don't even have to try. And we're like, I don't have to try anymore in this relationship. And we're good, but I'm not. And you have nothing else that I can unlock. You have nothing else for me to unleash. My brothers, this is why we in that space. It's just our natural design to unleash women. Now, this ain't to say go out and be a hoe and just start unleashing women and shit like that. Tap into the woman that you involve yourself with. Learn if you can unleash her. We in such a microwave society, I've learned that I can unleash a woman within a week, and that's it. I talked to women who, within a couple of weeks, they've already had businesses started and all of that shit. And it's just, well, I always wanted to do this, but just meeting you made me do it. I unlocked what nobody else could, which was the will and the motivation to do so. And you did it. You dig what I'm saying? But knowing that about myself, and some of my brothers, you need to know this too, unlocking that deeper aspect within yourself and unlocking that within women is a reflection of how deep you really are. All right. And my sisters, what he unlocks in you, when you start to see that it's too much and you realize that you're not deep enough for him. And it's fine, bow out. But keep this in mind. These things will never be understood as long as you continue to fuck with the reality of submission. And I can keep going on because this is starting to, segue, but I'm gonna leave it at that. Make sure you kiss your babies. Make sure they eat their vegetables. And as far as our kids, let's break this narrative early. When our kids start to date, stop teaching our girls to find a man that they can submit to, and stop teaching our boys to find a woman that will submit to him. No, they need to understand the principles of being unleashed, because that will now give them the ability to say, oh, you don't do it for me. Now, this is not going to create narcissists, because you're going to explain it to them what the true capacity is. You feel me? As opposed to saying, get with somebody on your level. No, get with somebody who can, as a woman, get with somebody who can unleash who you really are. But you have to know who you are first. As my brothers, find a woman who can be unleashed within the depths of what you require. But you have to know your depths and know what you require first. So it all starts within. So we need to be able to teach our babies that a little bit better. As far as that, no more of this bullshit. If you still follow religious doctrine, cool, I don't care, but that's what you do. But we got to break this narrative about submission and continuing to submit, because this shit is trash. This is why relationships don't work. Because we don't want what we think. We don't want what society told us is ours and what works for us, because it don't. It just don't. Men don't like submissive women, and women don't like being submissive. We've just been conditioned to do so, and we tolerate it. You feel what I'm saying? This is why we get caught up in the fantasy of, dudes watching, twerk videos and all this shit. And it's like, why he always double tapping these bitches? I should be all of the woman he needs. He's not. You're not. You know why? Because he can't unleash that shit within you. Because you're so submissive, you don't want to be unleashed. Yo, bro, why can't I just be satisfied with her? Because you can't unleash everything out of her. Why? Because you don't know the depths of how it is. And she might have more than you can actually bring out. You can only bring out so much, and she has more that needs to be tapped into. And you don't have the capacity to do so. You feel me? That's why she's not enough. That's why you got to go cheat and have another woman. You feel what I'm saying? My brothers, that's why she got that love man, that work bae, that work hubby. This is why she gets seduced so easily, because he's able to tap into shit you never even scratched the surface on. But again, all of this could be prevented if we understand that men, our natural proclivity as masculine divine is to unleash women. And our women understand is to be unleashed. And in that, we harmonize with each other. Y'all don't submit to us, and we don't need y'all to submit to we don't need y'all to be submitting. So I'm gonna leave it with that. Go kiss your babies. Make sure they eat their vegetables. And I'm gonna see y'all all on the next one. Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom. And before I say that, quick disclaimer: if anything got fucked up, if I had y'all fucked up in anything, blame it on the Mercury retrograde. Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom. I'm out.